Elon Musk has said that he has a super bad feeling about the U.S. economy. He's laying off 10% of his workforce. What do you say to Elon Musk about his feeling about the economy? Jamie Dimon has said similar things.
Well, let me tell you, while Elon Musk is talking about that, Ford is increasing their investment overwhelmingly. I think Ford is increasing the investment in building new electric vehicles, 6,000 new employees, union employees. Lots of luck on his trip to the moon.
It's a hurricane. Right now, it's kind of sunny. Things are doing fine. Everyone thinks the Fed can handle this. That hurricane is right out there down the road coming our way. We just don't know if it's a minor one or Superstorm Sandy.
We learned that in May, the economy added 390,000 new jobs, bringing the total since I took office to 8.7 million new jobs, an all-time record. We learned that more Americans entered the labor force in May.
1.8 million people said they were unable to work last month because their employer closed or lost business due to the pandemic. 1.8 million small business shutting down, unable to work.
Millions of Americans moving up to better jobs with better pay. And American manufacturing is booming. Rising wages for working families, everyday cost easing up, and shrinking the deficit.
Talk quickly, if you can, Secretary, about wage growth versus inflation, especially after we see this jobs report coming out early this morning.
Well, wage growth didn't really grow this month that much, so we didn't see a big growth like we've seen in other areas. And inflation, I think, trickled down about 0.1% last month. So we still have a gap between the wages that people are earning, more wages that people are earning now, and what inflation is.
With record jobs, new record small businesses, and wages rising.
As workers respond to real wages, not nominal wages, and we've been seeing real wages continue to decline in recent months because the nominal wage growth just hasn't been keeping up with inflation.
The two challenges on the minds of most working families are prices at the pump and prices at the grocery store. This is a Putin price hike. Putin's war has raised the price of food because Ukraine and Russia are two of the world's major breadbaskets for wheat and corn.
One of the biggest drivers of this surge in inflation in recent months has been energy, and there are concrete steps that the administration could be taking today to start bringing down some of the medium to longer run pressure on energy prices by increasing permitting, increasing leasing. Heck, if they really wanted to bring down some near-term price pressure, they could be issuing some Jones Act waivers, but we're not seeing them do that because it's evidently politically untenable.
Yeah, you're talking about the rule about shipping, why basically refiners in Houston are going to sell their oil to the Rotterdam, Netherlands, rather than New Jersey because these weird shipping regulations.
Because of the enormous progress we've made on the economy, the Americans can tackle inflation from a position of strength. The point is this: we've laid an economic foundation that's historically strong, and now we're moving forward to a new moment where we can build on that foundation. And as we move to a new period of stable, steady growth, we should expect to see more moderation. We aren't likely to see the kind of blockbuster job reports month after month like we had over this past year. But that's a good thing. That's a sign of a healthy economy with steady growth.
Retail trade dropped 61,000 month over month. Yeah, retail fell. And you just wonder, Rick, we talk a lot about the consumer and the economy. Is this kind of a canary in the consumer coal mine, given that retailers were laying people off?
I couldn't agree more, Brian. I'm one of the few out there who really thinks that there's now two canaries in the coal mine. The one you just brought up, and about 3-4 Fridays ago when we had the consumer credit number come out, over double expectations at $52 billion on a month-over-month basis. Huge historic move. To me, when you look at some of these anecdotal signals regarding the consumer, and then you consider in 3 states over $7 for gasoline as people go back to work, I don't think you need to be a rocket scientist to figure out that the consumer is going to be overburdened. And even with 5 months in a row of over 5% year-over-year earnings, it's just not enough right now. And I think that will continue to be the story, that 2/3 of the economy is going to slow down a bit. The question is how much and for how long.
And my plan does all this without raising a penny in taxes on people making less than $400,000 a year, and without raising the deficit at all.
Biden and his inner circle have reams of internal polling and memos showing the messaging isn't working. The account is based on conversations with 14 White House aides and close allies of the Biden White House. And it includes this. They have the same internal meetings over and over, insisting that they need to change up their whole approach to how they're using Biden. And then, each time, watch as nothing changes. The piece is fascinating in that you get part of it is generational. Older aides dismiss the younger aides as being too caught up in the tweet-by-tweet thinking. Younger aides give up. It's tension.
It is, and all coming back to the fundamental problem that the president is obviously not where they want him to be politically and in his approval ratings. And you see that they are doing over and over the same thing. He gives a speech. They can't get him away from a podium. Also, another White House aide said to me, look, it's hard when he's talking about all these serious things to then have the next shot of him going and getting ice cream. It's all this going on, but it's just they know it's not working.
And so this is Ron Klain is his chief of staff and a longtime aide and friend of the President of the United States. In a January memo, White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain offered a compromise plan to have Biden do one town hall each month to at least grab some unscripted moments in media exposure. That got sucked into the maw of blaming and dysfunction like so much else, and in the end, not a single town hall was scheduled. He's the chief of staff. He can't move his boss, or how does he not make things happen?
I mean, you read that part of the article where they have these meetings over and over, and now they said to me, an aide said to me yesterday, there are town halls that are going to be scheduled. Let's see. But if it was supposed to be once a month, that's 5 town halls that were thought of that never happened.
And look, I understand that families who are struggling probably don't care why the prices are up. They just want them to go down. Joe, what are you going to do to bring them down? But it's important that we understand the root of the problem so we can take steps to solve it. Largest release of global oil reserves in history, 240 million barrels to boost global supply. But the fact is this, there's more than one way to solve this problem. If food and gas prices are going to be elevated by Putin's price hike, one way we can make things a little better for families is by helping them save on other basic items their family needs on a monthly basis, like their utility bills, their internet bills. I know that even with today's good news, a lot of Americans remain anxious, and I understand the feeling. I grew up in a family since I took office, families are carrying less debt. Their average savings are up. I've been very clear that fighting inflation is my top economic priority. My friends on the Republican side like to paint me as the big spender. But let's look at the facts. Facts matter. Under my predecessor, the deficit exploded, rising every single year he was in office. Under my plan, we're on track to cut the federal deficit this year by $1.7 trillion. Hear me now? Because unlike my predecessor, the deficit has come down both years I've been here. I propose a plan to keep shrinking that deficit.
OPEC doing enough on oil production?
Well, what I recently read is talking to my team that they acknowledge that there is an oil shortage, and they have made an announcement of late that they're going to increase production. So I don't know enough to know whether it's enough, but I know it's positive.